students! I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today, we are going to build vocabulary. I can use context clues to find the meaning of words. Do you remember what context clues are? Context clues is where you use the words before and after a word that you don't know to figure out the meaning. Earlier today, you should have read the text Smoke Jumpers with Miss Rowe. I am going to go ahead and ask you what you think certain words are that you have probably not heard before. The first question I want to ask you is, what is a smoke jumper? Maybe some of you know what it is, maybe you don't. So what we're going to do is we are going to use context clues to figure out the meaning. Okay, so I went ahead and circled where in the text is the word smoke jumper. I'm going to read the first paragraph. Have you ever heard of smoke jumpers? A smoke jumper is someone who is trained to fight fires in rough terrain, like mountains or other places that are difficult to get to. Okay? So the highlighted yellow part tells me what a smoke jumper is. So right after the word smoke jumper, they give me the definition. So a smoke jumper is someone who is trained to fight fires in rough terrain. And the text told me what a smoke jumper was. So now you know what smoke jumper is just by using context clues. The next question is, what is rough terrain? Maybe some of you have heard the words rough terrain before. Maybe you haven't. So you're going to use context clues to figure out what rough terrain is. So let's see. A smoke jumper is someone who is trained to fight fires in rough terrain, like mountains or other places that are difficult to get to. So here, the paragraph tells me what rough terrain is. Rough terrain like mountains or other places that are difficult to get to. So rough terrain are places that are difficult to get to, like mountains. That is rough terrain. Isn't that awesome that we use context clues to solve what rough terrain is? So now it's your turn. I want to know if you can use smoke jumpers and rough terrain in a sentence. I'm going to give you my examples. You're going to write your own. When I grow up, I want to be a smoke jumper to help stop forest fires. So I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but in the United States, on the west coast of the United States, there's fires going on right now. So I'm pretty sure that there's smoke jumpers out there trying to contain those fires. Okay, the next sentence, I want to write a sentence using the word rough terrain. Any kind of sentence you want. When my parents and I go camping, we hike on rough terrain. Those are my examples for the words smoke jumper and rough terrain. Okay. Now, the next word is parachute. I went ahead and I circled the word parachute, and we're going to read the words before and after parachute. Smoke jumpers parachute from a plane. They land on a spot near the forest fire. Firefighting tools, food, and water are also dropped by parachute. Here is that word again, parachute. So what do you think parachute is? Okay, so a parachute, based on that, I'm going to say that a parachute is something used when jumping off a plane Or you can also use a parachute, not only for humans to jump, but you can parachute supplies to the ground. Okay, so a parachute is something used when jumping off a plane. I got that just by reading a little bit before and a little bit after the word parachute. So that is using context clues. You figured out what parachute was by reading the words before and reading the words after. This is a really good skill for whenever you see words that you don't know in a really great book that you're reading. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what that word is. Using context clues is going to help you have a greater vocabulary. Okay, the next word is gear. What is gear? Smoke jumpers wear special gear to keep them safe. Padded fireproof suits and helmets with face masks protect jumpers from fire, rocks, and trees. So gear, here they give me examples of what gear is. Special gear to keep them safe. So by reading the words right after, I know that gear is something that keeps the smoke jumper safe. And they give me some examples here. They give me the examples of padded fireproof suits, helmets, and face masks, okay? So gear is something you use to do your job. So if your parents are doctors, they have certain gear that they use. If your parents are soldiers, they have special gear that they use. If your parent is a mom, they have special gear that they use to do their mom job. Okay? So now it's your turn. Now I want you to use parachute and gear in a sentence. I cannot wait to see your answers. Your teachers cannot wait to see your wonderful sentence with those capital letters and those periods. It's going to be wonderful. Good job, boys and girls. And that's all. Bye.